Hi everyone, welcome back in this vegan cooking course, in this other lesson of this vegan cooking course. Once again, my name is Davide Sciotta and I will guide you in this journey where I will explain you, I will show you that vegan diet and cook vegan is easier than we think. Okay, in this lesson we will talk about the lasagne. I know that I already said that about the focaccia, but lasagne is one of my favorite dishes of all time. I really love to appreciate the fact that I can teach you how to make the perfect lasagna for me, of course, because I really studied a lot, I really tried a lot to achieve the same consistency, the same taste of the classic lasagna. There are some tips that I will suggest in this lesson to have the same creamy fillings and the crunchy topping. I can wait for you to try to make the perfect lasagna. Okay, so now let's talk about lasagna, of course lasagna alla bolognese. That is the one we will make together later. Lasagna alla bolognese is one of the most iconic dishes in Italian cuisine, and it holds a special place in the hearts of food lovers around the world. Originating from the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy, this rich layered dish is a celebration of flavors, featuring a hearty ragu, creamy bechamel, and delicate sheets of pasta. It's a dish that's meant to be savored slowly, enjoyed with family and friends, and passed down through generations. However, fortunately, as more people embrace plant-based diets, a growing number of cooks are finding creative ways to make vegan versions of lasagna that are just as comforting and satisfying as the traditional recipe. The heart of any lasagne, whether traditional or vegan, is of course lied in the pasta. Lasagne sheets are usually made from a simple mixture of flour and egg, which creates soft yet firm textures that holds up well when layered with sauce and baked. However, making fresh lasagna pasta by hand requires precision, and it's an art of itself. To achieve the perfect lasagna, the dough must be made carefully, kneading it until it's smooth and elastic. And the dough is then rolled out thinly, traditionally using a rolling pin or a pasta machine, and cut into rectangular sheets. Actually, I don't think it's very important to be as regular the cut of this pasta. It could be also irregular. I will show you later. So now let's go on. Once the pasta sheets are cut, they need to be blanched in boiling salted water for just a few seconds. This step is essential, okay, as it ensures that the pasta is cooked evenly and holds its shape during baking. If you skip this step, the pasta will absorb too much sauce and become soggy in the final dish. After blanching, the sheets should be immediately transferred to cold water to stop the cooking process and preserve the texture. When making lasagna from scratch, the pasta is just one part of the equation. The other crucial components are the ragu and the bechamel, which are the soul of the dish. While traditional lasagna alla bolognese uses a meat-based ragu and a creamy bechamel made with butter and milk, vegan alternatives can be just as rich as flavorful without the use of animal products. The first step, is creating a vegan lasagna. In creating, a vegan lasagna is making the pasta. Instead of using an egg-based dough, you can create a vegan-friendly version by simply omitting the eggs. We use, as I said, we have seen before in the previous lesson, all-purpose flour, the semolina flour, water to create a soft and a pliable dough. The method of making and rolling the dough remains largely the same as the traditional version, and the result is just as delicious. For add flavor, some people also add a bit of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and of course a little of turmeric for color the vegan dough. Then it comes to the ragu. The key is to create a rich, meaty texture without using any actual meat. There are several plant-based options to choose from, each with its unique flavor and textures. The one I recommend the most is the textured vegetable protein that is made from soybeans and has a chewy meat-like textures, making it an excellent substitute for ground beef in vegan ragu. It's high in protein and easily absorbs the flavors of the sauce. Okay, so I think for the ragu is one of the best substitutes, but one of the best alternatives we can use. Seitan, also known as wheat gluten, is another great option for vegan ragu. It has a dense meat-like textures and can be crumbled or sliced to mimic the consistency of ground meat. It's also high in protein, of course, can be seasoned to create a savory rich ragu base. Then we can use also lentils for a lighter and more nutritious alternatives. Lentils are a fantastic choice, but since lasagna is not known as being a light dish, for me the best way to achieve the perfect ragu is by using a textured vegetable protein, but it's up to you. It's important that you know also other alternatives. Each of these vegan ragu options can be seasoned with a classic combination of onions, garlic, carrots, celery, and tomato, along with herbs like thyme, rosemary, and bay leaves. For me, it's not important to use all these ingredients we've seen before in the previous lesson. It's important to have the perfect base for the soffritto and then add some key ingredients that can add umami flavors to the final dish. While the classic lasagna with ragu is delicious, there are many creative variations to explore, of course. For example, we can make a pesto lasagna using layers of fresh basil pesto, of course, vegan basil pesto, roast vegetables, and vegan ricotta. We can make also mushroom and spinach lasagna. Another option is a butternut squash and sage lasagna. That's a really creative way. The lasagna, is a very creative dish. We can add every ingredient we want. The most important thing is to add this rich flavor that will make us appreciate the final dish. Okay. One of the most compelling reasons to opt for a vegan lasagna is the significant reduction in environmental impact. Traditional lasagna made with meat and dairy products has a much higher environmental footprint than its plant-based counterpart, of course. The production of animal products, particularly beef and dairy, requires large amounts of water, land, and energy, while also contributing significantly to the greenhouse gas emission. In contrast, plant-based foods like lentils, soy, and wheat have a smaller environmental impact. They require fewer resources to produce, emit fewer greenhouse gases, and are generally more sustainable in terms of land and water usage. For instance, producing 1 pound of beef can result in more than 3,000 gallons of water being used. Whereas producing 1 pound of lentils typically requires only around 50 gallons of water. Similarly, plant-based milks like almond or oat milk use far less water and land compared to dairy milk. By choosing a vegan lasagna, you're not only making a delicious and nutritious meal, but also contributing to a more sustainable and environmentally friendly food system. The positive impact of switching from traditional lasagna to a plant-based version extends far beyond just your health. It's a step toward reducing your carbon footprints and supporting more sustainable agricultural practices. Lasagna alla bolognese is a beloved dish that embodies the heart of Italian comfort food, whether enjoyed in its traditional form or made with a vegan twist. Lasagna offers a rich and satisfying experience. Making lasagna from scratch, creating the fresh pasta, ragu, and layering it with care, it's actually a labor of love, but the results are always worth the effort. And by opting for a plant-based version, you can enjoy all the flavor and comfort of the classic dish while also contributing to a more sustainable and environmentally friendly food system. Whether you're using lentils, seitan, or soy proteins for the ragu, or exploring other creative fillings like roast vegetables or pesto, vegan lasagna proves that tradition and innovation can go hand in hand. So, next time you're in the mood for lasagna, consider going vegan, not only for your taste but also for the planet. So now, let's stop talking and let's make the lasagna together. Okay, welcome back. This is a really important lessons because today we're making a comforting and healthy dish, the vegan lasagna alla bolognese. It's rich, flavorful, and packed with layers of goodness, but without any animal products. This lasagna is the perfect dish for those who love Italian food but want to enjoy a plant-based version. So let's get started. We begin, of course, with the fresh pasta dough, which is the foundation of this delicious dish. To make the dough, you'll need flour, semolina, and a pinch of salt, a bit of turmeric for that beautiful golden color, and warm water. We start by combining the whole flour and the semolina on a clean surface. The semolina, as I already said, gives the pasta a wonderful texture, the perfect for holding all that delicious sauce. We add then a pinch of salt, a small amount of turmeric. The turmeric adds not only color but also flavor that enhance the dish. After the dough is ready and the dough has rested, we can move on to rolling it out. We dust our work surface with some semolina flours. This will help keep the dough from sticking and also gives the pasta a slight texture, making it easier for the sauce to adhere. Okay. Now you have two options. You can use a rolling pin or a pasta machine. The important thing is that we have to roll the dough out until it's about 4 millimeters thick. You want it thin, but not too thin, just enough to hold the layers of sauce. Once the dough is rolled out, we can cut it into rectangles that will fit your baking dish. They don't have to be perfect uniform, just large enough to layer in your dish. Comes a crucial step, blanching the pasta. Why is this so important? Well, when you briefly cook the pasta in boiling salted water for just few seconds, it prevents the sheets from soaking up too much sauce while baking. This ensures your lasagna stays nice and moist, not dry, okay? So, bring a large pot of salted water to a boil and drop the pasta sheets in for just a few seconds. If you don't need to cook, you don't need actually to cook them all the way through. Just soften them slightly. Then quickly transfer them to a bowl of cold water to stop the cooking process. And once they cooled, drain the sheet and set them aside. Of course, the sheet must be without any detergent flavor, okay? We repeat the same exact process for all the pasta sheets. When they have already been blanched, we let it rest on a surface until they cool down. Okay, so we can start by making the bechamel. In fact, while the pasta is cooling, it's time for us to prepare the bechamel or white sauce. We already seen how to prepare it. We start by making a roux with vegan butter or olive oil, of course, and flour. We melt butter in a pan over medium heat and stir in the flour. We cook the mixture for a minute or two to eliminate the raw flour taste. Then we add the unsweetened plant-based milk. You can choose whatever you want, whatever you prefer, and once you reach the right consistency, we remove it from the heat and let it cool. We cover then with a plastic wrap to prevent a skin from forming while it cools. So then we prepared vegan ragu. We already seen that. I already showed you how to prepare the vegan ragu 2 times. So now it's time to prepare, to show you how to prepare the perfect vegan lasagna. So now comes the fun part, okay? Assembling the lasagna. We start by spreading a thin layer of ragu and bechamel at the bottom of your baking dish. This helps prevent the first layer of pasta from sticking and also give the lasagna a good base flavor. You take your first sheet of pasta and place it on top. Then we can add more ragu, more bechamel, and also a generous sprinkle of nutritional yeast flakes. This will give the lasagna that cheesy umami flavor without using any dairy. Then we repeat the layers, making sure each layer of pasta is generously covered with both the ragu and bechamel. We continue layering until you used up all your pasta sheets. Is about 4 layers. Is actually perfect. It is really important that you understand that lasagna is not be light dish, okay? So you have to be generous with the ingredients, with the ragu, with the sauce, with the bechamel, with all the ingredients. It is a really tasty dish, a really rich dish. So be careful to use the right amount of ingredients, of fillings for preparing the perfect lasagna. You continue layering by adding the ragu, then the bechamel, and of course also the nutritional yeast flakes. Of course, you can also use alternative cheeses, but for me it's okay to use nutritional yeast. It's really tasty, it's really umami, and it's also less expensive. So for me, it's better to use it. final layer, make sure to add extra bechamel and another heavy sprinkle of nutritional yeast flakes. This will give the lasagna a beautifully cheesy finish. Before you bake the lasagna, I must give you some tricks, okay? The first one is to prick the top layer of pasta with a fork. This helps prevent the pasta from puffing up during baking. Then another important trick is that you have to cover the dish with aluminium foil. Okay, this step is really important because it keeps the moisture in, allowing the lasagna to cook evenly and stay juicy. So now it's time to cook. We can place the lasagna in the oven at 200 degrees and bake for about 30 minutes. After that, we remove the foil and continue baking for an additional 10 minutes to let the top become golden and slightly crispy. Once the lasagna is done, don't rush to cut into the right way. Let it rest for a few minutes so the layers can set. During this time, your kitchen will be filled with the most delicious aroma, making it hard to wait, but trust me, it will worth it. It will be worth it. Once it's rested for a few minutes, we can use a sharp knife to cut into the lasagna and serve each piece onto a plate. No, I can't resist taking a bite right away, and I'm sure you won't be able to either. When you dig in, you will experience the beautiful combination of creamy bechamel, rich ragu, and the perfect tender homemade pasta. It's pure comfort in every bite. And there you have it. This delicious vegan lasagna alla bolognese that's sure to satisfy your cravings. This recipe is packed with flavor, texture, and everything you love about traditional lasagna, but it's completely plant-based. It's perfect for any occasion, whether you're feeding a crowd or just treating yourself something special. So, my question is, what are you waiting for? Get in the kitchen and start making your own vegan lasagna. I promise it will be a hit every time. Enjoy and let me know if you love it.